can burn. I'm keeping my lamp full, waiting on the bridegroom. Cause when the kingdom comes, say I wanna be ready.
Welcome back to Lamp Oil Stock, a channel where we look at different issues from an Israelite point of view. And we're going to continue on with our ongoing series, the Red Letter Bible series, with part number 22. What do you got for us today?
We're reading Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 through 20. Verse 13 says, "Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat.
14.
Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
15.
Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
16.
Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles?
17.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit.
18.
A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.
19.
Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire.
And 20.
Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them."
Okay, so that's Matthew 7, 13 through 20.
Right.
Okay. So, as we normally do, let's start at the top, kind of work our way through this, see what verses we each found.
Okay, so if I look at Matthew 7 and 13, 13 and 14 pretty much go together. And for entering at the strait gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, I go to Psalms 118.
Okay.
Verse 20. It says, "This gate of the Lord, into which the righteous shall enter. I will praise thee, for thou hast heard me, and art become my salvation." So this is a verse where it's speaking about gates. And Isaiah 35, verse 8, it says, "And an highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men, though fools shall not err therein."
See, I was looking for that, and I can't say that particular verse. I mean, I can't say, I know that verse and that was the one, but I knew that there was a verse that said something very similar to that.
Okay.
You know, so that may have been the verse that my original thought.
Well, ta-da!
Thank you very much.
Okay.
But now, before we leave these two, this hit me with another completely different verse.
Go ahead.
So, when I read over this, okay, so you got to bear with me for a minute. I'm getting all sneezy. I don't know what's going on, but okay, so bear with me for a second. So, enter ye at the strait gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Okay, so this to me sounds like you are being presented a choice. One path to follow the Most High, and one path...
No, and many paths away.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it says wide is the way, which is why I was going with that way. Oh. See
I'm with you.
There's to the Most High and then everything else.
I just threw off your whole thought process.
You didn't.
Didn't I? Okay.
Almost, but you didn't. Okay, so what this reminds me of when presented choices, and it also tells you that in verse 14, it says, "Narrow is the way which leadeth unto life." Okay. Now, that reminds me of, and do you mind reading for me?
Okay.
Deuteronomy 15. Deuteronomy 15 through about...
Deuteronomy 30.
I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 30, 15 through 20.
Okay. 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. 16. And that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Okay, so you can actually stop. I mean, it continues on. But the thought being, as in with Matthew, it seems as if, and just this is what it reminded me of, where Christ says, okay, well, you have a choice to make here. You can follow the Most High, or you can lead off into destruction.
Right.
And
right.
it seems to be an echo, to me, an echo of what Moses put in front of the Israelites in Deuteronomy.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so go right ahead.
Well, the reason why I had said many paths is because it goes on with Matthew 7:15 that says, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Right.
And I think you have many false prophets, and not all of them are leading you astray in the same way.
I got you.
So it really is a wide path to evil, but there are many offshoots, I guess, because, anything that takes you away from the Most High, if it's 75% biblical and then 25% off some crazy boulder, you still on the wrong path.
You still went off a crazy boulder. Yeah, I got you.
So if we look at Matthew 7 verse 15,
Right.
to go along with that, I got Jeremiah chapter 23.
Uh-huh.
And I want to start at verse 9. It says, mine heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man whom wine hath overcome, because of the Lord, and because of the words of his holiness. For the land is full of adulterers. For because of swearing the land mourneth. The pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force is not right. For both prophet and priest are profane. Yea, in my house have I found their wickedness, saith the Lord. So that's Jeremiah 23 verses 9 through 11.
Okay, I got you.
Which is talking about, prophets and priests, even though they're in the house of the Most High. So we're not talking about Christians or Muslims or Hindus. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about supposed Israelites.
Right.
Even though they're in the Most High's house, they are profane and adulterous, and
Gotcha.
they're leading people astray.
Okay, so I looked this one up too, but with this one, instead of with the last one, I kind of went with the theme.
Okay.
This one, I decided to go directly with the definition of the words.
All right.
All right, so the first thing I went back and looked up was sheep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I got Psalms 78 and 52. All right. But made he his people to go forth like sheep and guide them in the wilderness like a flock.
Okay.
So this is in Psalms. He's David. I'm assuming this particular psalm is written by David. Is saying that the Most High is treating Israel like a flock of sheep.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I think that's where that particular allusion comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Ezekiel. If you continue reading the line, the second half of the line is, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing." So come to you as part of Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But inwardly they're ravening. They are ravening wolves.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so let's look at Ezekiel 22, 26 through 28.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Do you want me to read this?
Oh, if you don't mind. I'm horrible.
Okay, let's see. It says, 26, her priests have violated my law and have profaned mine holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbath, and I am profaned among them. Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves, ravening, one of those words, the prey, to shed blood and
It's literally the same word. You know that, right?
to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. And her prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar, seeing vanity and divining lies unto them, saying, Thus saith the Lord God, when the Lord hath not spoken.
See?
So that's Ezekiel chapter 22, verses 26 through 28.
See, there's your ravening wolves.
Right.
All right? And it's the same illusion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so once again, I think what Christ is doing here is using the illusion from Psalms to get you to understand he's talking about people literally who claim to be in the truth, and then they are like these prophets who say all kinds of stuff and may even say it in the name of the Most High when the Most High didn't say it at all.
Okay. So now we're moving on to Matthew chapter 7, verse 16, and it says, Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? 17. Even so every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. And I put 16, 17, and 18 together. So 18 is a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. And if we look at those three verses, I went to Proverbs 20.
Oh, I was there too. Good. All right. I'm with you. Go. That's a good one.
And if you go to Proverbs 20, verse 11, it says, Even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure or whether it be right. So this is kind of saying the same thing, that you will know how, because the Most High often refers to people as trees, so you will know if a person is good or evil by the things that they do, by their actions.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
And, you look at this, and I think in this generation, what we have is a lot of people that are on the internet. And they listen to people speaking, like whoever's listening to us now, or will be listening to us, and they'll try to judge us by the things that we say. But there's no way for you to know if I'm sacrificing children.
God, I hope not. I mean, we had 6 children this morning. I hope we have them tonight.
Or
oh my goodness,
eating a fried pork chop sandwich, because you don't know me. You
right.
only know what I present to you. So there's no way to really judge, for you not knowing me, to judge me by my fruits. That's why it's important that you gather with people that you know, and that you read and verify things for yourself, and not just listen to people. But go ahead.
Your examples, man, they're the best. I mean, they're unbelievable. Okay, but now let me. I also looked at this one, and I saw that same verse.
Okay.
But I got a couple others.
All right.
Likewise in Proverbs. So let's look at, and I can read these. Proverbs 10 and 16. The labor of the righteous tendeth to life, and the fruit of the wicked to sin.
All right.
Okay, and then I got one more. Proverbs 11 and 30. The fruit of the righteous is the tree of life, and he that winneth souls is wise.
Okay.
So, could it be Christ also alluding to Proverbs?
Right, right.
You know, I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I think you're absolutely right. In other places, trees are used to represent individual believers, and then the fruit of those trees are there to represent their, I want to say, works. It's not, maybe not the best way to put it, but represent what they do. Okay, ready to go with the next one?
Okay, so Matthew chapter 7 verse 19 says, every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire.
Uh-oh.
So I had a little trouble with this one.
Oh, okay.
But if we go to Malachi 4,
Okay.
it's starting at verse 1, it says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Oh, okay.
So that is Malachi 4. But if we go to Isaiah 5,
Okay.
it says, this is more of the Most High is trying to paint a picture. If we go to Isaiah 5 verse 4, it says, what could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain, no rain upon it. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. And that's Isaiah chapter 5 verses 4 through 7. So I think this is alluding to the same thing. The Most High says, you know, I did all of this stuff for you, and what I gave you was good, but you took that and turned it to evil, and so I'm going to allow all this destruction to come upon you because of it.
Okay. Well, I took it. I did it another way.
All right.
I have a completely different set of verses for this. Okay. So, as it says, so let me read it one more time. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewed down and cast into the fire.
Okay.
Okay. So, if we take a look at Isaiah 10 and 33, behold, the Lord, sorry, let me read that again. Behold, the Lord of hosts, shall lop the, you gotta read it. I can't, my dyslexia is killing me, man.
Behold, the Lord of hosts, shall lop the bow with terror, and the high ones of stature shall be hewn down, and the haughty shall be humbled.
Okay, so let's think about what we're dealing with here, because we're talking about we're still talking about, from my point of view, the wolves in sheep clothing, the people who are leading incorrectly. All right, they're going to be hewed down, and when it says cast into fire, there's a couple of times where cast into fire means something very specific.
Okay.
Cast into the lake of fire.
Right.
At the end. You know, so I got one more verse.
Okay.
If you don't, one more group of verses here. This is Ezekiel 20, 44 through 48.
Okay, and 44 says, and ye shall know that I am the Lord when I have wrought with you for my name's sake, not according to your wicked ways, nor according to your corrupt doings, O ye house of Israel, saith the Lord God. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face toward the south, and drop thy word toward the south, and prophesy against the forest of the south field, and say to the forest of the south, Hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will kindle a fire in thee, and it shall devour every green tree in thee, and every dry tree. The flaming flame shall not be quenched, and all faces from the south to the north shall be burned therein, and all flesh shall see that I, the Lord, have kindled it. It shall not be quenched. Wow, that's a little scary. But
I'm with you, but you see what's going on here. He is talking to the house of Israel. You know, in this group of verses, he's talking to the house of Israel because of their wicked ways. And he compares the house of Israel to a forest, which we have already been comparing. Christ has been comparing to trees. And he says all trees that are not good fruit will be hewed down and cast into fire. And then here in Ezekiel, this is exactly what's going on. That the Most High will literally create okay, I say literally, but you mean, it says, we'll create a fire and it won't be quenched and it'll burn up all the trees that are there.
Right.
So, you know, my question, and it's not really a question, but my thought is, it seems like this group of verses, Christ is pulling from Proverbs, he's pulling from all over the Bible.
Yeah.
Right? He seems to be pulling from all over the Bible, but once again, this isn't a new concept here.
Right. It's not a new concept because you can find it all over the Old Testament. It's just that Christ is bringing these thoughts back into the forefront of the center of people's minds and putting them in a way that people can kind of understand, maybe a little bit clearer on what's happening and what's going to happen if they continue to listen and be led off the straight path, you know, because we have a choice if who we're going to listen to and what we're going to believe, and our foundation is supposed to be in the Most High. But if we choose to have itching ears, or if we choose that we're going to listen to people who say things that we like, then destruction is going to come for you, or it's going to come for us. So, you know, there is a path, and you need to consistently be checking and making sure that regardless of your feelings or what you think, that you understand what the Most High wants, because you are here to serve Him. Right? So you have to change to be with Him. He doesn't change to be with you. So if we finish it off, Christ repeats in Matthew chapter 7 verse 20, Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. So he says this twice, right? So it's got to be important. You know, you don't restate something unless you're trying to put emphasis on it.
Right.
That there are these people out there, Israelites, there are Israelites out there who were telling you the word, who were prophesying, preaching, whatever, they a prophet, and they're lying to you. And you need to figure out their works. You need to, if you're going to listen and follow someone and feel like that they are telling you the truth and, you know, nothing but, then you need to know that person and figure out what their fruit is. See what their works are. And not just leave your soul in their hands.
That's a good point. And you know, I've noticed over the last, I notice this on a regular basis. We are with our videos. We kind of have a plan for what we're going to be doing next. You know, on kind of what we're doing. But it's weird. It's really strange, especially if you listen to several several people that are out there, that are Israelites out there trying to spread the word. There's lots of good folks out there trying to do that. Okay, there really are. Sure, there are some that are leading you off in left field, but there's lots of folks who are really trying to get the message out and be encouraging, and those type of things. And you'll notice, especially like about over this last week, there's been a lot of people saying, now is the time to go back and get refocused on the Most High, to get your act together, to get away from false teachers. This has been a big message throughout. Yeah, I guess the way to say it is like a non-coordinated, lots of people are having the same message right around the same time. To me, it feels like the Most High is really trying to get this thought out and to people that you've really got to be careful who you're following and who you're listening to.
You're right, and there are many false prophets out here, and it's scary how many people are out here teaching and leading people astray. So it's very important that you take time out if you're listening to someone, and when they go to verses or whatever, you should follow along with them. Make sure that the verse that they read, that you read it in context and make sure that it's saying what they say it's saying, because at the end of the day, it's you who has to stand in front of the Most High and give an accounting for what you did. And you're not going to be able to say, well, so-and-so said this. Right?
Yeah.
So, do what you do.
Well, guys, listen, thank you all so very much. That applies to us as well. Please, we really want you to get your Bibles out and go through and read the things we're talking about, discussing them in your own home with yourselves and friends and whatever. Thank you guys so very much for taking a little bit of time and listening to us go through each one of these different verses. Hopefully they've been edifying to you. If you've got a question, or if you've got comments, if you've got a like or
Dislike?
let us know. Any of those things are unbelievably helpful. Once again, thank you guys so very much. Do you have anything else?
God bless your Allah.
The devil's trying to break my wall, but so we don't fall. I'll be here keeping commandments, man. Scripture flexing with my